Summarising data, example 7. The data here is displayed in a slightly different way to what we've had before, in the sense that we have individual values and the number of times they occur. So we're looking at the shirt collar size, which we're calling X, of male students in a particular year group. Collar sizes are given in inches, and in this particular year group, these are the different values that people said to be their collar size, and this is how many students. So for example, collar size 16, 29 students had that size. There's an extra little column here, and I'll show you what we're using that for later. So what have we got to work out? Well, the mode is the most common, and the most common one here, looking at how many times things occur, is 16.5, and that's all you need to write. There's nothing else to say there. Part B asks us to look at the median. Now, if you remember, the first thing we always do when we're working out the median is we work out n over 2. What's n? Well, n is the number of people. It's not 5. 5 is the number of different types of answer we got, but we didn't ask 5 people. We asked a lot more than 5 people. Let's do a little bit of adding up. If we go down that column, I think that adds up to 95. So the number of people is 95. We call it n, or sometimes we call it the sum of the frequencies. It's 95. So we've got 95 divided by 2. I think that works out to be 47.5. And if you remember that rule on page 4, we have to round up. So we round up to the 48th. Now, where is the 48th person? If we put them in order, where would that person be? Well, I'm certainly not going to write out a full list of 95 numbers. I'm not going to write 15, 15, 15, 15 and a half, 15 and a half, 15 and a half, 17 times. I'm not going to do it. It's far too time consuming. And so what we do in this column is work out something called the cumulative frequency. We add them up as we go along, and that'll help us spot where value number 48 is. So in the first interval we have 3. In the first and second intervals together we have 20 people. Cumulative frequency, you probably remember it from school. Adding up the first 3 intervals, that's 49 people. Now remember, we're looking for person number 48. So if in the first 3 intervals we've got 49 people up to here, person number 48 must have been in this interval. And so actually we know that the median must be 16, because person number 48 lies in this interval. So the median works out to be 16. If we were looking for, say, an upper quartile, you would keep going down this column, work out all of the cumulative frequencies. But for the purposes of this example, going up to there was enough for us to spot where value number 48 was. So the median is 16. Last one, the mean. Remember our formula, sum of x over n. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What we don't do is just add these up, these 5 values. The 5 values occur a different number of times each. So for example, we've got 15 3 times. 15 3 times. So I know that's going to add up to 45. I know we've got 15 and a half 17 times. So 15 and a half 17 times. And if I keep going, we've got 16 29 times. We've got 16 and a half 34 times, and we've got 17 12 times. So we would add all of that up on our calculator, and then what do we divide by? We divide by n. N is not 5, that's the number of intervals. N is the number of people, the number of values that we added up, and there were 95 people who told us their collar size. So I'll do the adding up for you, and when I did this on my calculator I got 16.2. And if you look, 16.5, 16 and 16.2 are very close, and what that tells me is that this is a reasonably symmetrical distribution. The mean, median and mode are all round about the same value. They're all round about here. And so that tells me that if I was to draw a diagram of this data, it would be fairly symmetrical, a little bit skewed towards the top end because we've got a little bit more data here than we have here. But generally speaking, it's relatively symmetrical, and that's something that we'll comment on when we look at one of our later booklets.